into One-on-One live on Suddenlink Channel 112, live from Studio 318, as well from a soggy and cold Oklahoma State University. I'm Reed Spencer, joined by my co-host Logan Mosier. They said it was going to be 65, and it is like 35 and cold and rainy. But that's Oklahoma.
Yeah, you can't be too mad that they can never predict the weather, right? Because you could look at the weather radar an hour from now, and it could be totally different from what it tells you. It could be like in an hour, it's going to be the same, and then it just gets real sunny and 60 degrees outside like it's supposed to be. So,
well, I would not care unless I didn't have a round of golf planned.
Oh.
But now it seems as though I will study for the test that I need to study for.
Maybe that's a blessing in disguise, Reed.
Probably.
Maybe you shouldn't be golfing right now.
Nah, it's always time to golf. But it was perfect weather in Boston yesterday as the Patriots, their sixth Super Bowl parade in 18 years.
Can you have bad weather if you're having a parade for a championship?
Can anything go bad for those guys?
I don't think so.
I mean, Gronk's out there catching footballs, catching other things. He's throwing stuff in the crowd. I don't think Edelman's allowed to put up 6 when he's only been a part of 3.
Yeah.
Brady can put up 6. Brady and Belichick, the only two to be a part of the 6. But it was a fun day, as you see Edelman catching the football from the crowd.
Look at that, showing off the quarterback skills.
He can replace Tom Brady when that ends. But the 6th Super Bowl parade, so it was a good time in Boston. As I mentioned on Monday's show.
Did Tom Brady change up the TB12 logo for
now it's
TB6
for 6 championships. As I mentioned the other day, a stat that I cannot get enough of, a 4-month-old baby in Boston has seen more championship parades than a Mets, Jets, Knicks fan that's 45 years old.
That's rough.
That's rough. But the Yankees and Giants have had some success in the past. But Super Bowl 53 is what they were celebrating, obviously. It was the lowest rated game or Super Bowl in nearly 11 years. Scored a 44.9 with Nielsen. That's the lowest since I said 2008, and that's down 5% from last year. Mm-hmm. What attributed to this low rating?
I don't want to say the game itself, because even before the game, there was not a lot of national hype for this kind of game. What was the biggest storyline? Will Brady win 6? Like, that's it. It wasn't Brady versus, obviously he never played, or he did play. It wasn't like Brady versus Manning, or it wasn't like Aaron Rodgers versus whoever, Big Ben, Russ. It wasn't anything like that. It was just this boring Patriots team that was on paper one of the worst Patriot teams we've seen in a long time versus the LA Rams that have a combined 42 fans in the city of Los Angeles. Like, it just wasn't built. It wasn't what the NFL wanted to put out there. They would have much rather seen Brady versus Breeze. I feel like you could have done a lot of better marketing for that. A lot more people would have paid attention. And the game itself probably led to a lot of people just switching to something else.
So you think it was less of, it's Tom Brady again, I can't watch this, and more of Tom Brady versus Jared Goff?
Or Sean McVay, or...
Yeah, it just wasn't...
There was no
storyline for the NFL to latch on to.
It was so one-sided.
I think it was just a conglomerate of both. I mean, the Rams... I mean, they were exciting. Sean McVay was an interesting story for football fans.
Right.
But football fans, no matter who's in it, no matter how bad the game is, football fans will watch it. The Super Bowl gets people for the commercials. Super Bowl gets people for the halftime show, which were not very good. They were almost as bad as the game. And it's just like there was no story that really pulled people to this game. Now, it's down the lowest in 10 years, but 5% last year was like 103 million to 98 million. It's not like they lost. Somebody asked if it was because of New Orleans. The city of New Orleans, the market itself does not reflect a Nielsen rating. So I don't think it was Saints fans. But not a good look for the NFL. Certainly CBS probably wasn't pleased with that. So they charged $5.5 million for an ad and actually changed that. The people who made the commercials shouldn't be happy because they paid $5.5 million for that. The best commercial was probably from the NFL, and they probably didn't even have to pay.
They did not. They didn't even pay the people that were in it. Actually, they just paid for them. They paid for their travel and stuff like that. So yeah, not like you said, not a lot of good commercials. The one that sticks out to me the most, and maybe that was their plan, was the Robo Baby commercials, and that terrified me. I will never use the product that was advertised in that commercial ever in my life. But there was nothing. There was nothing. Even going into halftime, it was like, what's the story? These teams, it's 3-0. What can you make out of that? So it was an unfortunate year, but like you said, it's not like they had like 12 people watching or anything like that by any means. It was still a huge success. If you just look at viewers, it's probably going to be second to March. It might even beat March Madness in total viewers.
I mean, once you pull in 100 million people in a 4-hour span, you're doing pretty well. But, I mean, I don't think it's reflective of anything too bad. I don't think the NFL should be super worried. I think they will bounce back next year.
Right.
Speaking of next year, Super Bowl odds are out for next year, and the Chiefs are favorites to win Super Bowl 54 at 6-1. The Patriots, Rams, and Saints follow at 8-1. At 14-1, you have the Steelers, Chargers, and Bears. Browns, 20-1 odds to be world champions. 300-1, the Miami Dolphins.
Ooh.
So the Dolphins are way down the list at 300-1. So if you could put $1 and win a ton of money, but it's not like, I don't think
it's not
300-1 odds for a reason. But the Browns last year, can you tell me who was 20-1 odds last year?
Probably I'm going to say the Rams were
The
one.
Rams were 20-1 odds last year. They were the second seed in the NFC and made it to the Super Bowl. So I'm not necessarily comparing them, but there is that out there that people think that much. Because, I think the Rams had a better season 2 years ago than the Browns did this year to be reflective of 20-1 odds. But the Chiefs are 6-1 odds, so they are the favorites, as I said, followed by the Patriots, Rams, Saints. Early Super Bowl matchup prediction.
I'm going to go Chiefs, and I think the Rams can get back. I'm going to say Chiefs-Rams.
Chiefs-Rams, the Super Bowl next year, right?
That was a great Monday night game a couple of weeks ago. It was the best game of the season, I feel like, including the Super Bowl. So why not have that as a rematch?
I don't even know. I don't even know. The Chargers are going to be really good, but the Chiefs are going to be good
but
as well.
Can the Chargers win when it matters?
Well, I mean, Chargers fans certainly thought that they had the upper hand on the Chiefs despite leading for 4 seconds in the last 13 matchups.
Right.
But they had convinced themselves that they were better. I don't know. I think Philip Rivers is getting old with that defense. You just have to see what changes the Chiefs make on the defensive side of the ball. But the Bears, I think Bears will be good.
I think the Bears have a good shot. I'm looking around. I don't think Minnesota's going to be there. I doubt Green Bay gets anywhere. 6-9-1 this year. What a disappointing season for Aaron Rodgers. I can't. Is Cam Newton going to play at all? I don't think they'll make it, but
yeah, I think Carolina's kind of in a bit of despair now.
And I mean, you look at Seattle. Maybe we'll see what San Francisco can do when they get
a long ways to go.
Yeah, we'll see what Jimmy Garoppolo and those guys can do down there. Him and George Kittle, and I would have to say the Rams or the Bears would have to be the favorites right now.
I think I could agree with you because of Khalil Mack, and Trubisky's only going to improve.
Right.
So, obviously, we have 6 months until the first meaningful snap in the NFL and almost a year until we get to Super Bowl 54. But the odds are always out there, and we'll always be talking about it. You mentioned San Francisco, and you also mentioned Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver. A possible landing spot in San Francisco, the place that's probably been mentioned most.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown was involved in a domestic dispute. The entire time the last 6 months, 7 months in Pittsburgh, it's felt like a domestic dispute. I mean, it's just been one thing after another in this organization, and it's with Antonio Brown especially. But he's already been questioned by the police in Florida once for throwing stuff from a high-rise balcony, which is legitimately dangerous. And now he's getting questioned. He wasn't arrested or charged in this, but you have to worry about Antonio Brown spiraling out of control. Are you worried about him at all?
Absolutely. I mean, it's like you said, the last 6 or however long, whenever that first story broke about him not playing in the end of the regular season, it has just gone straight down. And you add the Le'Veon Bell stuff on the top of all that's been going on around there. I feel like Antonio Brown has isolated himself from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I doubt he's a part of that team come the start of next season. But you got to worry about what his priorities are and how he is off the field. I mean, We saw with Des Bryant, the Dallas Cowboys gave him a kind of private security detail to keep him in check. Does whoever, whether it's Pittsburgh, San Francisco, or whoever, do they need to think about adopting that policy with Antonio Brown?
No, because I think you have to look at him, and it's over in Pittsburgh. I mean, the Steelers they're just trying to find a way out. I mean, very talented player, probably the best wide receiver in the league right now, and he just can't get the personal stuff under control. Now, if I take on his contract or sign him, let's per se, the favorite is the 49ers. So assume the 49ers make that move. You're going to be looking at him and you're going to have to talk to him and say, hey, we will help you, but if you can't get out of your own way, this is not going to work out.
Yeah.
So we'll give you an opportunity, but ultimately we will help you, but we can't help you if you're not willing to be helped. And It sounds now like he's in the type of place where he's almost lashing out like a teenager. It's like he never had that fun, and now he's lashing out at the worst time possible because...
Absolutely. I think that's going to be a tough conversation to have with him, and it might be even tougher to get him to listen to that conversation and take it to heart, because we've seen this with wide receivers, not necessarily to the extent of this, but people that lash. Randy Moss had a history of not being a great teammate and kind of lashing out. T.O. is probably the picture perfect version of that. That's the worst case scenario, but he was still a great wide receiver, so people kept paying him. Chad Ochocinco, kind of another weird guy, did his own thing, kind of had his own issues. You got to hope Antonio Brown can turn it around and not just be another one of these diva wide receivers that's worth it if you're willing to put up with him, but after a certain point, your career can get cut short because you're not worth what you're doing off the field. I feel like if he can kind of control this kind of stuff and stop this off-the-field nonsense, he can extend his career, not just because he'll be playing as well, but people will be able to tolerate him, and they won't have to. He won't be worth the production, but like if he's a good enough teammate and is willing to listen, people will give him not an extra big contract, but one of those like vet minimum deals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's certainly on a path to destruction.
Yeah,
you would certainly think. But on the flip side of it, Nick Foles. The Eagles picked up his option. Then he voided the $20 million option. I don't know anyone that would void $20 million, but he has voided the $20 million option. He's going to have to pay $2 million to opt out of that, which probably paves the way to be franchised, which is now $25 million. And if they franchise him, they're probably going to trade him. So Nick Foles is going to get a nice check.
Yeah.
Either way you look at it. So trade partners here, Carson Wentz, bad teammate. He said he could have been a better one, but that article probably wasn't the best thing. It was a bit of a hit piece on Carson Wentz, honestly. But I think everyone knew that this team was Carson Wentz's team going forward.
Right.
Nick Foles' potential landing spots if they franchise him and trade him, which they're looking to do.
A couple just off the top of my head. I mentioned if Cam Newton does not play, I would look for the Carolina Panthers to maybe make a move for Nick Foles, because they have a decent roster anyway, but they're not going to win without a good quarterback. So if you're not going to have Cam Newton out there, maybe make a trade for Nick Foles, and that would be a lot of money, but you'd only have him for that one season while Cam Newton gets healthy, and then you can let him walk. Tennessee, if they're looking to move on from Marcus Mariota, that might be a spot. And the Dolphins, they're always looking for a quarterback.
Yeah, it looks like Dolphins are probably going to move on from Tannehill, so there's possibility there. And in the same state, the Jacksonville Jaguars going to move on from Blake Bortles. So there's potential there. We will follow that throughout the offseason. But it's time to get into your favorite segments because there's a ton happening in the NBA. The NBA trade deadline is at 2:30 Central Time tomorrow. So we're going to come back, break down all the trades that have happened and are going to happen. We'll be right back on One-on-One.
One-on-One is brought to you by Tinker Federal Credit Union. Visit facebook.com/TinkerFCU. While you're there for your family, we're there for you. Tinker Federal Credit Union. And OSU Communications. Not sure where to park? OSU Communications has got you covered with parking tips and bus schedule information. We'll be right back.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of Downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.
Welcome back into One-on-One on Suddenlink Channel 1, so live from Studio 318. John Wall was hurt anyways. The Washington Wizards are stuck in
what a rough time.
NBA purgatory because
they are.
He's hurt. Now he's out for another extended calendar year because he just ruptured his Achilles in his own home in a fall. This is the most Washington Wizards story.
I don't even believe that. Do you believe that he fell in his home?
Well, we know he wasn't wearing the boot like he was supposed to.
Yeah.
So maybe the Wizards could get an injury settlement out of this. I don't know.
It doesn't seem very likely.
It's almost like the Dustin Johnson falling down the stairs at Augusta.
Yeah.
I was wearing socks on wooden stairs. Okay, Dustin. Okay, John Wall. What really happened here?
Reed, when was the last time you slipped and fell in your home?
That's a bit of a personal question, but it's been a while. It has been a long time since I have slipped and I mean,
you know the last time I slipped and fell? When I was learning to walk. I do not just randomly slip and fall in my house.
Well, maybe John Wall is more clumsy than you. It's certainly possible.
I should hope not.
It's not a likely one considering he's a professional athlete.
Yeah, isn't his value based in his speed and athleticism? I don't know, maybe balance does not fall under athleticism, but I thought that would.
Well, his lack of balance doesn't work well for the Wizards.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to go down the next 4 seasons for you.
Are you
going to tell you?
Are you telling me his salary?
The Washington Wizards owe John Wall.
Yes, I love
this.
In
1920, $37.8 million. Barrett is going to cringe after every number. So this next year, $37.8 million. It gets better, Logan, because it goes up. 2021, $40.8 million. 21-22. $43.8 million. In 22-23, 4 years down the road, $46.8 million.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that $46.8 million is a player option.
No.
So John Wall has the option to take that money or not. I feel like he's going to take it. This has to be one of the worst. It has turned into one of the worst contracts in the entire league. The guy is not healthy. He's out for a whole year. His play has been declining. He does not seem to be a great leader. He does not seem to be super popular with all of his teammates. That contract is so unmovable. Washington is stuck with John Wall for the next 4 years. That is so unfortunate. And they're 22 and 31. They're not even in. They're a 10th seed in the East right now. They're not even bad enough to get someone like Zion or R.J. Barrett or John Morant. They're going to end up picking at the end of the lottery.
Yeah, and at minimum 12 months.
Yeah.
He may not even play at all next year.
He probably won't.
At 28 years old, it has certainly been a rough road for John Wall.
Absolutely.
And he's been a serviceable player at times. It's not like, I wouldn't go as far as say he was a bust, but he's certainly not played to the potential that he had coming out of Kentucky.
Right. He kind of he never really got better, but he didn't seem to take the leap that people thought he would. He never turned into the kind of guy that you thought he could be. Like, people thought he could be the best guy on a championship team. He could lead you to that. I don't think they've made it out of the second round since drafting John Wall.
No, he only played 41 games last year, but lucky enough for the Wizards this year, they've got him on a bit of a deal, $19.2 million this year.
Great. That's great. So you can just pay him that big money while he sits next year when that kicks in.
Yeah, when it's $38.2 million next year, then increases, as we said, to 37.8, 40.8, 43.8, and 46.8. This is just...
And like you said, they're going to try and file for an injury exemption for insurance. I don't think they're going to be able to get that because it's not a multi-year injury. It's a 12-month injury, and they don't usually give those out for that short of an injury. And I know saying 12 months sounds so short, but they usually reserve those for guys like Chris Bosh, who had to retire because of the blood clots he was getting. Those are usually safe for guys that have career-ending injuries. So it looks like Washington's just going to be paying out of pocket for John Wall and not getting him on the court.
Well, for a point guard, it's always difficult. I'm not a doctor, but you would think an Achilles is different for as much as they move around.
Yeah, and especially for how much he relies on his speed. It'll probably be better than it'll probably be easier than it was for DeMarcus Cousins just because of his size.
Right.
So,
well, in 2012, he missed 33 games for a knee injury. He had surgery on both knees in 2016, missed 9 games with the knee injury in 2017, missed 27 games last January on the procedure to the left knee. He opted for left heel surgery, ruled out for the season.
Gets an infection in it.
Gets an infection and then
falls down.
And it ruptured it. So
that's unfortunate.
This is terrible for the Wizards. It's just a bad situation. But no one's going to make a trade for John Wall because no one would be dumb enough to absorb that contract. I don't know that there's anyone dumb enough that would have done it besides the Wizards. But they're going to
Don't count the Knicks out. The Knicks might have done that back in the day.
They might have. They might have done it. Or the Redskins. I mean, Washington just signs bad contracts.
Yeah.
But the Lakers are maybe consume the next 2 segments because there is storyline after storyline with the Los Angeles Lakers. Obviously, the story right now is going after Anthony Davis. But let's mention last night really quick before we get to this trade because I think the trade has a lot to do with what happened last night. The worst loss of LeBron James' career. 42-point loss to the Pacers, 136-94. People were chanting, LeBron's going to trade you at Brandon Ingram during the game.
Yeah.
This is awful for the Lakers. What did the trade rumors, because teams lose bad.
Right.
You see this every once in a while in the NBA. But 42 points to a good but not great without Victor Oladipo Pacers team.
I think the trade talks had something to do with it. Maybe this is a conspiracy theory. Maybe they played bad to lower their trade value. Maybe Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, and Kyle Kuzma weren't playing so well, so people would be like, I don't want those guys. They're not good. I'm not going to give up Anthony Davis for those scrubs. They just lost to the Pacers by 40. That's a little conspiracy theory. I don't know if you want to believe that. I choose to believe that.
Well, it's not as radical as I think you think it is.
Lonzo Ball had surgery this offseason to avoid being traded.
That's also a conspiracy theory I will buy into, but a bad loss for the Lakers.
Yes.
Those guys that lost 42, like half of them are on the trading block. The offer to the Pelicans that has not gone through. The Lakers are currently supposedly waiting on a counteroffer.
Right.
They may have to add, the story out now from Wojnarowski is they may have to add Josh Hart and Zubac with this trade. Who else is going to be left on the Lakers?
Yeah, it is. That's what the Pelicans want that was their Godfather offer, as it says on the screen, and the Pelicans reportedly also wanted a combination of, I think they wanted a total of like 6 picks, including between first and second round picks. And I'm all for overpaying for Anthony Davis right now, but that's what's on the screen. That is probably the max I would be willing to pay for Anthony Davis. I think the Pelicans are just being outrageous because they don't want to trade him to LA. Like you said, there was a trade last night that may have opened up some room for him to go to the Clippers, but we'll get into that later. I don't know how much better the Lakers can make this without trading away their whole team. Because like you said, that's 5 guys right there, and they're 5 of their really good young pieces.
Have you ever seen, did you ever watch House of Cards when Frank Underwood takes his ring and he knocks on the table? It's kind of sort of his power move. Magic Johnson should put on his World Championship rings, fly down to New Orleans, walk into their desk of the GM and the owner, and throw his rings down and knock on the desk, say, I'm a world champion. I'm Magic Johnson, and I'm not going to let you screw with me anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're screwing with him, Logan. It's getting out of control.
Yeah.
The offers, I'm with you, overpay. You're not going to lose this trade if you get Anthony Davis or LeBron James. You're not going to lose it. But 6 picks with, I think Brandon Ingram is going to be the best out of those three young guys.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with dealing him for Anthony Davis. I would be happy to get Lonzo Ball. I would give him up for anything because he's a headache. He's going to be a good young player, but he's not going to be great. Cal Kuzma's good, not great. I'm fine with getting rid of those. Even Zubac and Josh Hart.
Right.
But the 6 picks with it,
that's a lot.
They're just, it's basically
too much.
A metaphorical middle finger to the Lakers. They're wasting their time, and it's a shame. Just say no.
Right.
Just say no. Don't pick up the phone. But if I'm Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss, I am so agitated at the Pelicans because these are not real offers.
Right.
They're just, give me half your stock. They give them half their stock. I want 70% of it. No, we agreed on 50. They give them 70. I want 85. No. I would not even pick up the phone for them because I would be done with them. 2:30 tomorrow will come and pass without Anthony Davis being a Laker. But the Pelicans, why not trade him? There's a good core of young players that are under contract. Go get them because Anthony Davis is not going to be a Pelican past next July.
Right.
He's simply not.
Right. And I've read they're waiting for the market to open up to see what other teams want to get involved. The Knicks, whenever they find out what their pick is, may want to get involved. The Celtics probably still want to get involved, even though Anthony Davis's dad came out and said he doesn't want to play there because of what they did to Isaiah Thomas. But stuff like that can change. Feelings like that can change once you're in the organization. You get to know people. But I think what I've read from respected NBA journalists is that Jason Tatum is no longer universally considered untouchable by the Celtics. So maybe the Pelicans are thinking, well, I would rather get Jason Tatum than Brandon Ingram in this trade. So why not wait till the summer, till the Celtics can get themselves in this deal, and maybe you can pull away a Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, or a Jason Tatum and Scary Terry, or some combination of those guys. It's kind of, I would agree with you. I would be frustrated if I were the Lakers organization. I would pick up the phone if they called and offered a counter trade, but anything past that, I'm not talking to them. If it's outrageous, I would be like Magic Johnson. I would just say, you know what? We'll wait 2 years. You can get nothing for him. See you next year.
I think if they go down this road, this is going to bite the Pelicans.
Well, Reed.
Bad, because Danny Ainge is going to mess them up so bad.
Yeah.
The GOAT you look at what he did. He fleeced the Knicks. They've been a laughingstock for a decade. Yeah, the Nets. Yeah, the Knicks did it to themselves. Yeah. The Nets. I mean, this guy, don't pick up the phone. Yeah. So the New Orleans Pelicans are laughing at the Lakers. The Lakers will be laughing at the Pelicans, and Danny Ainge will be laughing at the Pelicans. The league, you and I, will be laughing at the Pelicans when Danny Ainge pulls off the greatest trade ever.
And I mean, Reed, when you look at the Pelicans as an organization, they're most known for getting a trade vetoed because it was so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really. And it's the same GM. I don't know how that guy kept his job, but
who else wants the Pelicans job?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, come back and talk about where LeVar wants Lonzo, what Harden's been able to do, and this Clippers trade did. I don't know what to make of this trade, but we'll break it all down next here on 101. We'll be right back.
1-on-1 is brought to you by Oklahoma Christian University. Get your master's degree in accounting, business administration, theology, engineering, computer science, or cybersecurity from Oklahoma Christian University. Apply at oc.edu/grad. Oklahoma University is committed to offering the best graduate school experience we possibly can. Come learn and grow with us. And The Table. Stop by The Table on Thursdays at 8 p.m. to join their Bible study. Shoot Rachel an email at rachel@thetableosu.com for more information. We'll be right back.
In my mind, I was never going to walk right again. Before we were through, we had walked 23 steps. And that was my first steps of freedom. This patient is saying thank you.
My stick legs don't.
Welcome back into One-on-One on Sunlight Channel 112 Live Studio 318. LeVar, we're talking about the Lakers really quickly. LeVar has talked his son into existence of being a Laker.
Yep.
From Chino Hills to UCLA, he knew he was going to be a Laker. Now it seems Lonzo is on the trading block with this massive trade. But he prefers Phoenix to New Orleans, and I think most people do.
The weather, I don't know. Is the weather that much nicer? The organizations aren't that much different.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah. Does it really matter?
No.
I think there's more young talent in Phoenix, but I mean, they're inevitably going to mess that up.
Yeah.
And DeAndre Ayton. But, but outside of that, I mean, is LeVar going to speak this into existence? Because quite frankly, Logan, who are the Suns going to trade for Lonzo? Yeah, he can't speak this one into existence.
No, I mean, you would have to get like a pick, like a protected first-round pick, or I don't even know, like Josh Jackson. I don't know.
Oh, I don't think this one's going to happen.
I don't either.
Well, there's another big trade in the NBA, one that happened not too long before we went on the show, or at least early in the morning. The Clippers trade Tobias Harris to the 76ers. It seems like the 76ers gave up everything. I mean, they still have all their players, the ones that matter, but a 2020 protected one and a 2021 unprotected first.
That's from Miami too.
Yeah.
That one's from Miami.
Did Elton Brand do the right thing here? Because I'm all for going after players.
Yeah.
I think you're always getting the guaranteed players. That's always the right thing to do. But who's on the bench now? Tobias Harris is probably going to leave. And am I the only one that thinks they could add Michael Jordan right now and still have a problem being the Golden State Warriors in the finals? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, this obviously works if he stays. Their plan is to re-sign Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris.
With what cap space?
I know.
Like, what? I mean, you have Embiid and Simmons. They're going to have to get paid. Embiid's already getting paid.
Joel Embiid, already getting paid. JJ Redick's making $12 million a year. Ben Simmons, I think after this year, he will be eligible for his big contract extension. But you're right. There's not a lot of guys that are on the team their bench is super thin now. Obviously, they went all in. I like the move because Tobias Harris is obviously a really good player. They're going to have to – this is a challenge for Brett Brown, and this is where I really don't think Brett Brown is a great coach. He's going to have to figure out how to play these 4 guys to where they don't get gassed at the end of games. Obviously, you start them all, and you finish them. You finish the game with these guys on the court, but you have to figure out how to stagger their minutes so they're all fresh – or not fresh, but like good enough to go in the fourth quarter. And I don't think Brett Brown has the management skills to do that. Someone's going to overpay for Tobias Harris. You mentioned he's going to leave. I think he is. I think someone's going to offer him a lot of money. I think Jimmy Butler could leave. I don't know if he's super happy with his role there. I don't know if he's happy anywhere.
I don't know.
He'll have to go to like. He might go to the Pelicans. He might go to the Pelicans and be happy there because he will get to do whatever he wants and complain about how guys don't want to win.
What will happen if the 76ers lose out on Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris?
Then they've taken a big step back. They've given up a lot. They've really gone all in on this. They have their work cut out for them from now until July 1st to sell the organization to these guys. Maybe bringing Tobias Harris in was a way to show Jimmy Butler, we're serious about winning. We're going for it now. So if you stay and Tobias stays, we can build off of this by drafting well, which they don't do, and bringing in young guys that can back you guys up and bring in a nice bench. But it's going to be tough. Are you saying, or I'm not saying you're saying, are you going to pick them to win the East now after making this move?
I think I would have picked them to win the East before this move. But I think yeah, probably. I don't think that Toronto has enough. And I get they have Kawhi Leonard now, but the choking is still a real possibility in Toronto. That's all they do in the playoffs. Boston, I've given up on Boston because they've had enough time now to get over this hump, and they haven't been able to do it. And Kyrie is a mess. I mean, they're working on trades. Boston's not going to win the East.
Right.
Who else is in the East? I mean, you have Milwaukee. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Milwaukee-Philadelphia Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
But I would take Philadelphia in that matchup because I don't think Giannis has enough pieces around him to get it done in a 7-game series.
Yeah.
But there's no way I'm taking Golden State to lose to either anybody in the East when it gets to the finals. But certainly now they're tied. Cleveland has like 1,000,000-to-1 odds to win the East. But now I believe Milwaukee is 5-2 favorites to win the East. Boston is 2-1, and Toronto and Philadelphia are tied at favorites at 9-4 odds to win the East. So certainly Vegas thinks that they're gonna probably win the East, and it'll be a Toronto-Philadelphia matchup in the Eastern Conference Finals.
In that matchup, I like Toronto's coach more. I'm just looking at the rosters. Toronto has the best player. I think Toronto has the best coach. And I don't know if you can say they have the best experience. Like, they obviously have more experience on that roster, but I don't know if it's good experience because, like you said, all they've done for the past 4 years is choke. But LeBron's not there, so maybe they can get rid of that. Kawhi Leonard knows how to win a championship. He was a part of the Spurs organization for a long time. He learned how to win there. I would still have trouble picking them over the Sixers just based on talent. Because you look at the rest, J.J. Redick and Danny Green, those are both scratches. I think they're just both shooters out there. Kawhi, Jimmy Butler, give me Kawhi. Then Tobias Harris and Serge Ibaka.
Right.
Serge Ibaka has had a pretty good year, but give me Tobias Harris, and then obviously give me Joel Embiid at center. There's not a lot of centers better than Joel Embiid in the NBA. So based on talent, the Sixers probably win the series. But the thing is, can Brett Brown coach these guys well enough? And can Ben Simmons overcome his lack of shooting and be a factor in the playoffs? Because that was a problem last year. He disappeared against the Boston Celtics. Brad Stevens just figured out how to take him out of the game completely.
Yeah, don't let him in the lane and he won't shoot.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't have to guard him on the three-point line. He's not even going to pretend to shoot it. So,
well, you would think they would figure that out. Like I said, I don't think Boston's a threat to him now.
Yeah.
But anything can happen in the playoffs. So, an interesting trade there. Well, obviously, it'll take time to see who won that trade. But the Clippers, trades that have happened really quickly, and then we could get into some rejected trades and trades that may happen. that really include the one we just talked about. Svi Mykhailiuk goes to Detroit for a second-round pick, and Reggie Bullock to the Lakers. So not a really game-changing trade there. It looks like that Thon Maker is on his way to Detroit, and Stanley Johnson is on his way to Milwaukee. Again, not a groundbreaking trade that's going to change a whole lot there, but it is a trade that has happened. And the Lakers going after Anthony Davis, another team in L.A., the Clippers. This is probably why they made this trade with Philadelphia, because Anthony Davis put that on his list of extended teams that he would re-sign with. Do you think the Clippers have a real shot at landing Anthony Davis?
In a trade, no. In free agency, maybe.
I don't think they ever have a shot to land a player like him in free agency.
I think they have a chance to land Kawhi. He's kind of in that
he's
realm.
Weird.
That's true.
I mean, he's
That's
weird.
true.
He's not a typical NBA player.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have the personality of most NBA players.
Right.
So I think you're right there. But typical Anthony Davis superstar type player.
Right.
You're going to get to LA and see 1,000 Lakers signs, and the Clippers are going to take you into a back meeting room because they're not allowed in the big conference room. That's the Lakers. And the Kings have the second best one.
Yeah.
And they get the small former closet where they give their sales pitch to players. The Clippers are the younger brother.
Yeah,
no
they
one
are,
cares about the Clippers.
for sure.
They need to move to Seattle. But that's interesting that they thought that they, and maybe they are in a position to land Anthony Davis, because I think that's what's really behind this trade.
I think so. I think you're right. They have a lot of picks. They have a lot of assets in terms of picks. They have a lot of cap space. They almost have as much as the Knicks. They have almost two max contract spots. If they can move on from Danilo Gallinari, they will have 2 max contract spots. So you gotta look at that and wonder, who are they going to go after? Obviously, I think their number one target is Kawhi Leonard. And then I mentioned a couple of names during the break. I mean, Klay Thompson, he's another one of those guys that's not quite normal. I think maybe they could pull him away. Kemba Walker's a free agent. I don't think they'll go after Kemba. Kevin Durant, I don't think, you said you would rather see him go to the Knicks. I think that's more likely than him going to the Clippers. It's going to be interesting to see how the Clippers offseason turns up, because since they brought in Jerry West, they've kind of turned the narrative around. They got rid of Lob City, and they haven't been great, but they haven't been terrible during this time either.
There's one important piece to this equation that needs to go before they really make a move. Do you know who that is?
Is it Doc Rivers?
It's Doc Rivers. He's got to go. This is not 2008.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers is not that likable. According to multiple NBA sources,
Right.
he is not well liked among players. They've got to get rid of Doc Rivers if they want to make this final push.
I agree, but you look at the coaching pool, guys who are going to be looking for jobs. I mean, who do you even think about replacing him with? It's rough.
Not Tom Thibodeau, but
I mean, Tom Thibodeau's going to be out there. Jason Kidd.
Yeah, certainly.
It's not Fred Hoiberg.
Yeah, there's not a.
It's not a lot
great
of
coaching selection, but there's potential out there for the Clippers if they handle it the right way. The Grizzlies rejected a trade offer from Toronto for Kyle Lowry, for Marc Gasol and Mike Conley. Why would the Grizzlies reject this trade?
I think they think they can get more out of Mike Conley and Marc Gasol. We'll see. They might be calling Toronto back in about 12 hours, try and make that trade again.
Well, yeah, we have about 26 hours before this goes into the 26 hours and 45 minutes before this goes in to overdrive for everyone.
Right.
2:30 Central Time tomorrow. Obviously 3:30 Eastern Time is what the NBA goes by, but that's the final time anyone can make a trade. From 2:30 today to 2:30 tomorrow, we're setting the over-under at 4.5 for trades that will happen in that 24-hour window. So if it happens at 2:20, it doesn't count. 2:30 to 2:30 Central Time, over-under is 4.5 on trades, over-under.
I'm gonna take the under.
The under. I will take the under as well. I think it'll be 3 or 4 players. Now, if Anthony Davis gets traded, as you said earlier, it's going to be 5 or 6 players in this deal. Over-under and players in these trades, maybe a little high, but 13.5. I'm taking the under.
I I'll also take the under just because I don't think that Anthony Davis trade's going to happen.
I don't think it is either, but obviously it's going to be a stressful 24 hours for NBA executives and NBA reporters. So we'll break all that down on Friday, what else happens by the deadline. We're going to come back. It's Bedlam basketball for the Cowgirls tonight, and the Cowboys are down in Fort Worth to take on the Horned Frogs, and a big upset in the Big 12 last night. We'll discuss all that and more right after this.
One-on-One is brought to you by Oklahoma Air National Guard. Contact Oklahoma Air National Guard at 800-GO-TO-ANG or visit their website at goang.com/OK for more information about how to get 100% college tuition. And Unitarian Universalist Church. If you're looking for a church home, visit Unitarian Universalist Church of Stillwater, located at 320 South Stallard Street. They offer an alternative spiritual path and welcome all races, religions, and beliefs. They're also LGBTQ friendly. Services every Sunday at 10:30. We'll be right back.
Stillwater Medical Center now offers a convenient way to view your health information online. It's secure, easy, and free. Our hospital and clinic patient portals allow you to view results and reports, medications and allergies, track visit histories, view upcoming appointment information, and see your statements. To enroll, go to stillwatermedical.com and click on the patient portal link near the top right of the page. If you have questions, please feel free to call 405-533-6010.
Welcome back to One-on-One on Suddenly Channel 112, live for Studio 318. The Cowboys are set to take on TCU tonight in the Big 12. TCU's 15-6. They're just one game better than the Cowboys in the Big 12, though, at 3-5. So not a great TCU team, but they're, I think, a borderline tournament team.
Yeah.
They got blown out just the other day, or this past weekend, excuse me. But the Cowboys are on a really tough 4-game slide here in the Big 12. So I just don't envision this. A 90-64 loss to Baylor this weekend for TCU. But down in Fort Worth, I think the recipe is easy to beat the Cowboys, just outrun them, and it's not their fault.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you mentioned that loss to Baylor that TCU just had. The game before that, they lost 84-65 to number 16 Texas Tech. So they've had a couple of bad losses as well. But like you said, I think the recipe to beat Oklahoma State is just too easy. You just got to get them tired. Don't let them get to the free throw line and slow the game down. And by the end of the game, they're all going to be huffing and puffing, and you'll send out your second group of guys or whatever, and they'll be just fine.
Well, the points per game is right at 69 for the Cowboys and 75.8 for the Horned Frogs. So TCU's outscoring them a little bit, but points against 70 for the Cowboys and 68 for TCU. So not a big discrepancy in statistics.
Right.
But I think if TCU can really rotate their bench, it's just going to be a tough out for the Cowboys tonight.
I agree. I feel like at the end of the season, our guys are either going to be in the best shape of their life as far as cardio or they're going to get winded just walking down the street because they're going to be running a lot because we just don't have the depth. We've mentioned it over and over and over again, but outside of Lindy Waters, Thomas DeZagua, Cameron McGriff, Isaac Likely, and Yorane more so now, how many guys can you rely on to play consistent minutes?
I mean, you haven't had a big role from anyone off the bench.
Right.
I mean, you just...
Curtis Jones has kind of been able to carve a little bit of a role coming off the bench. Duncan DeMuth, that doesn't work. Him coming off the bench doesn't work at all. Trey Reeves, I feel like he could actually get some good playing time if he had not broken his foot. So, I mean, Mike Boynton's got to find a way to get something out of the bench.
Right.
But that's much easier said than done.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult night. But here in Stillwater, it is Bedlam basketball here for the Cowgirls. 8 p.m. tip here in Gallagher, so make sure you go out for Bedlam basketball. The Sooners are struggling.
Right.
They're 0-5 in their last 5 games.
That's
now,
awesome.
The Cowgirls
I love to hear that.
Cowgirls are 1-4, but they are 12-8, 3-6 in the conference. OU is 5-15 overall and 1-8 in the conference. So this is a good opportunity for the Cowgirls to exercise some demons about what's happened the last 4 games, and also pick up a very, very important Bedlam victory.
I agree, and I think that's going to be what happens tonight. I feel like they're going to bounce back. Like you said, OU has struggled mightily. I just love that stat. Can you say it one more time?
Which one? 5-15, 1-8, or 0-5 in their last 5?
That's awesome. I loved all of that. So I mean, I'm sorry. I just love hearing about how OU's losing some games.
I agree with you there. I mean, their wins are over Western Kentucky at 7-point win, a big win over Northwestern State, but it's Northwestern State. A win over Central Arkansas, SMU, and a 5-point win in their only conference win over Texas Tech. Other than that, they've been beat handily by just about everyone.
Yeah. And I feel like the Cowgirls have kind of gotten a rough break recently. They've gone through a really tough stretch, playing 2 ranked opponents, going to K-State, and what's the stat about how many games they've lost there in a row? Is it
They've only won 3 in the last 11 years.
So, yeah.
In Manhattan.
So you lose 8 in Manhattan, obviously. And TCU, I'm not exactly sure what happened in that game. They 69-55 loss for the Cowgirls there. I'm looking for them to bounce back big. This is probably their first chance to actually bounce back. It's a home game. It's Bedlam, so the energy's always going to be there. Like you said, Oklahoma has struggled, so I would look for the Cowgirls to bounce back in a big way tonight.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good opportunity for Coach Littell and the Cowgirls to kind of put an end to this 4-game losing streak. And Texas Tech's not, I think they could get a win over the Red Raiders as well. And then you have another tough stretch at versus Texas.
Yeah.
Then you have to travel to Ames, 2 top 25 teams. And then you also have Baylor again down the road, and also K-State, a team you had problems with. But you get the Sooners twice, you get Texas Tech. There's some opportunity. And Kansas as well to kind of exercise some of those demons that they've had to deal with the past week. But in the Big 12 Conference as a whole, last night we've been going back and forth about this Kansas streak, as people have been for over a decade. Jayhawks looking for 14 straight Big 12 Conference titles. Logan, last night was a tough one because they went into in-state rival Kansas State and lost 74-67. So now there's a bit of maybe some clamoring. You sent me last night. You think the K-State has got this. I won't believe it until I see it.
Can't blame you.
But I mean, there's still a month left here, and the Wildcats also have to go to Lawrence.
Right.
But Kansas State is leading the conference right now at 7-2 in the Big 12. A half game behind them is the Baylor Bears and Iowa State Cyclones. But Kansas and Texas Tech, the 2 people that we thought were favorites, are a game and a half back.
Yeah.
There's, as I said, still a lot of basketball to be played. Cowboys are only 4.5 back, so don't lose hope.
Hey, there's a chance.
But there's a lot of basketball left to be played. But you think Kansas State, after last night, has solidified they're going to be Big 12 champions?
I think so.
You're crazy.
I might be. But they've got a tough stretch coming up. They go to Baylor, they go to Texas, they play Iowa State, and then it gets pretty easy. They go to West Virginia, they play us again. Then they go to Lawrence. So they have 2 easy games before they get to go to Lawrence. I'm not saying they're going to take those games off, but I'm just saying, like, you play West Virginia and us back-to-back, that's probably the easiest 2 games you could ask for in the Big 12 right now.
Well, you have the 2 worst teams in the Big 12 for Kansas. They play the Cowboys twice. You have West Virginia, a team they lost to, but you would think they would handle Tim and Fog Allen.
Yeah.
TCU, a team they could beat. They're going to want revenge against K-State. OU has been getting blown out of late, and they have a really good Baylor team to finish off the season at home. The only road games they have left are a tough one at Texas Tech, but OSU and OU are the only teams they have left. Not exactly difficult teams.
Yeah.
So a game and a half back, it's going to be tough.
Kansas does struggle in GIA. I don't know if they'll struggle this year, but they normally struggle.
Yeah, it has been a struggle, but a big win for Kansas State last night. So it is going to be interesting down the stretch. Just over a month left here in college basketball, but until I see Kansas go down, I can't believe it.
I can't fault you for that. That's kind of like betting against the Patriots or Alabama in the national championship. Just wait until it happens, and then you can be like, well, I was wrong, but if it happens again, it probably ends up different.
Yeah, an interesting night in college basketball last night with Kansas State beating Kansas, as we've been talking about, and then number 9 Michigan falls to the snake himself. I mean, Brad Underwood at Illinois. He's now 8-15.
Good for him.
Really improved his schedule. It's like his 12th win in 2 seasons. But we'll break all the stuff that happens down in the NBA on Friday, talk about the Cowboys and Cowgirls game ahead this weekend, and even break down some wrestling. We'll be back on Friday. Thanks for watching One on One. We'll see you then.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.